And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Sunday, April 30th. I am Josh Engleman, and I am joined not by Dave Loughran, not by the description that says Greg Ehrenberg. I got Rinpack in the house for today. Gonna have a fun hour. Thank you to Prize Picks, by the way, for sponsoring this show. Lots to talk about over the next 55 minutes. We got to get through 4 teams. We got a lot going on. Hit the like button if you haven't done it already. Ryan, what's up?
Yeah, excited to talk about a little small Sunday 2-game slate. A couple of exciting games, a new series, and a game 7 in the afternoon hours tonight. So I'm pumped.
It's going to be a good time. I had flip-flopped the games that we were going to talk about. I wanted to go Golden State, Sacramento first, because when I first started prepping this, didn't know the status of Julius Randle, didn't know the status of Quentin Grimes, was thinking we might not get it until halfway through. Well, no Randle, and it looks like we're going to have Quentin Grimes, but we're still going in the reverse order. We're starting this one off with Golden State because that's how it's prepped, and I'm not flipping that stuff around at this point. We got to talk. Look, we're going to touch on everything that exists here. We do have a ton to talk about. Game 7, Warriors-Kings. Warriors 1.5 point dogs, 229 total. Wild stuff here. Did you watch Game 6?
I did watch Game 6 pretty much most of the game, almost like 95, 90s, like almost all of that whole game. Yeah.
All right. That will be very relevant on the Kings side. We're going to start on the Warriors side with this one. The most owned Warrior, in very little surprise here, is going to be 46% owned Steph Curry, 9,600. You know you're getting 40 minutes out of Steph if this one's competitive, and honestly, potentially a couple more if need be. There are 2 pay-up options. Curry at 9,600, Butler at 97. If you want to include De'Aaron Fox at 9,200, we can. How do you feel about getting up to Curry today?
You got to have a lot of interest in getting up to Steph Curry today. But I am not getting as much as that number. I'm getting slightly below in my last run. But he's still an outstanding option. I mean, on the 2-game slate, we know the ceiling's going to be there. I expect the minutes to be anywhere between 42 to 48 minutes. It wouldn't shock me if Steph Curry plays the whole game. It's Game 7's do or die. I do think a lot of projections still, I think, are about 10% too low on a Game 7 situation. So I've incorporated a bump in my projection still, and I'm not getting as much as I thought I would. So I think we should be projecting anywhere between 41 to 42 at the minimum. If you want to project him for 45 minutes, I wouldn't prevent you to.
Yeah. Speaking of projected minutes, we got to touch on one guy here that I think is very, very wrong, not just like clearly across the industry. We got Draymond Green at 31.5 minutes today. I'm going to hit you with a stat. You ready? Since June 16th of 2015, here are the minutes played by Draymond Green in Game 6 or Game 7 of a playoff series. This most recent game that he played against the Kings, 26. Now, buckle up. 42, 39, 44, 37, 37, 37, 41, 43, 41. He has not played less than 37 minutes since May 15th of 2015. I went to 34. I feel like I'm still wrong. Started running out of places to get those minutes from him. He's playing more than 31 minutes. Or something bad happened.
I agree. My only argument there would be, Josh, the situation we've seen, he's even admitted that Looney has played well when he's not on the court. So that is the only situation where, okay, I don't see him a pathway of getting there. And then you got some bogus foul calls called on him last game, which prevented him being on the court for more than 30 minutes. But yeah, history tends itself that Draymond Green should be playing around 35 to anywhere up to 48 minutes tonight. I do think we might get an update there, but I do think the minutes are a little too low there. Expect Draymond to play a ton of minutes, barring any ejection, foul trouble, or a kick in the groin somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just one of those situations where like all bets are off, and I don't expect Steve, like it could happen if these guys get hot when they go out there, but in a Game 7 situation like this for the Warriors team, I think it's really scary to think that they're just going to be like, you know what, it's probably a Moses Moody day. I think you just start relying on Andrew Wiggins playing big minutes, Klay Thompson playing big minutes, Looney playing as much as he like those starting 5 plus Poole. are going to get their fair share today. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think Steve Kerr is really good at what he's done. He's done it for a long, long time. I'm sure he's going to cook up a different game plan because something happened on the other side of things that we'll touch on with the Kings that kind of probably threw Steve Kerr in a little whirlwind.
Yeah.
And I expect a very similar rotation for the Kings side of things, but I think a condensed rotation. Expect fewer DiVincenzo minutes, potentially fewer Jordan Poole minutes. I can see a pathway of Gary Payton stealing some of those minutes in terms of Jordan Poole was just absolutely awful last game. And they just need some sort of defensive IQ when they're on the court because Monk and De'Aaron Fox are just cooking Jordan Poole. They're having their own party against him. So that's my only situation with Jordan Poole. I'm very bearish on Jordan Poole today just because of bad play, bad defense. But there's a pathway where Jordan Poole just gets hot from offensively and he's going to stay on the court.
Yeah, if we have him at 7% ownership, I'm getting a few multiples of that for today just because we're talking about a 2-game slate. We're still talking about a Sacramento team that isn't a very good defense. The path for Jordan Poole wouldn't be all that surprising to me. And at low ownership, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Now that we have some pretty aggressive chalk in the Knicks side, getting different has become a little bit more problematic. So I look at Poole as a solid large field GPP play, not a guy that I want to rely on too much, but a nice dice roll. What else do you like from the Warriors? Who catches your eye the most?
It's got to be Klay Thompson in a must-win situation as well.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to play a ton of minutes. He's one of my highest owned guys over there on FanDuel as I last checked, and he's going to be grading out one of my better plays on DraftKings. Not as much as the ownership; it's a big discrepancy for me compared to FanDuel and DraftKings. Sure. It's coming down to price and position structure over there. So I have a lot of interest in Klay and Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins grades out better to me on DraftKings at that price tag. Wiggins has the potential playing similar minutes like Steph, 41 to 48 minutes. Wiggins seems that we had those conditioning worries earlier in the series, but he seems completely fine. He looks outstanding to me on FanDuel as well at $7,500. Look, I'm just going to count on game 7 minutes on the slate. And if I get burned by something we saw against the Memphis and Lakers game, so be it. But I think the Warriors should be well equipped for a game 7 than anyone pretty much in this playoffs.
I completely agree with you. Unfortunately, I'm still not getting a ton of Golden State. I'm getting to more of the Sacramento side. I don't know if that's just a pricing thing. I am over the field on Wiggins. You mentioned Curry before and being a little bit under. I'm in the same boat. I had a ton of Klay in game 6. That certainly didn't work out. I thought he was just going to I assumed the Warriors were going to smack the Kings in game 6. That game did not shake out at all the way that I thought that it was going to shake out. But now here we are, game 7. Are you willing to go to anybody from the bench here for Golden State? DiVincenzo, Payton, Moody. I'll throw Kuminga in there, I guess, but I can't imagine he's going to be getting out there in game 7. Although after the Kings going small, who knows? What else? Do you like anything else here for Golden State?
We'll touch on the Obi Toppin situation. There's a reason why I'm not getting much of any of DiVincenzo, Moses Moody, Gary Payton anymore, just because there's a kind of a surefire value that I feel pretty confident in. And the range of outcomes for any of these guys they could play anywhere from 5 to, if they see 18 minutes, that means something bad happened with the Warriors starting lineup. So I think their floor is very, very low. If I was going to pick a Warriors guy off the bench, it might be Gary Payton because he might be the lowest owned of these guys, but it's not, I don't think we need to go there.
No, it would be Payton for me as well, but I don't know how much you could realistically want to get to. In a situation like this, you're basically just trying to figure out, at least in this case, to me, who's the 7th guy for the Warriors? Because I think Poole is going to get real rotations. I don't think Kerr is just going to totally ether him today. The other 5 guys are going to play as much as they can. You just run out of minutes by the end, but someone's going to get them, you would think. I would lean Payton because it fits a little bit better. Obviously, DiVincenzo is there for it as well, but Payton feels like the sneakiest at no ownership. That said, I'm going to stick to the starting 5. I was going to say plus Poole, but the starting 6, we'll say. I don't know who the hell it's going to be. I assume Draymond starts, but who the hell knows?
Yeah, we'll see. And even if he starts or doesn't start, I still think he finds a way to mid to high 30s minutes.
Yeah,
it's Draymond Green, and I know it kind of worked there at home when he was suspended. They they figured it out. But I got to give a lot of credit to Mike Brown. He played an ultimate chess move last game, and I think that's what really helped them win the game last time.
Anybody else that we should be touching on from the Warriors?
In terms of the Warriors, the starters plus pool really is what I'm looking at. I don't feel any sort of lean. They're just not popping up in the last set of lineups I ran in a significant fashion that matters. Like I'm getting like less than 1% chance that Gary Payton, DiVincenzo, Moses Moody in FanDuel. It's similar over there on DraftKings. It's just hopefully one of those guys don't pop off, because my slate would be pretty much over if one of those guys end up mattering. So yeah, I'm just not getting much of those guys at all.
You want to talk about Prize Picks, the presenting sponsor of this show?
Yeah, let's talk about some over/under on these playoff games. Let's do it.
Love Prize Picks around these parts. I do a Prize Picks video 6 days a week. You got to love that. Make sure you're watching that. There's a free square for Steph Curry today. So if you're playing on Prize Picks, take advantage. You should play on Prize Picks. You should click the link in the description of this video, or if it pops up in chat, and sign up using that link, because you can get up to $100 on your first deposit. So put in 100, get another 100. Great start to your bankroll. But 2, you also get a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum, well over $100 value. You're not going to find a better deal elsewhere, folks. We've got a ton of Prize Picks content at Stokastic. That helps. I already mentioned my video on YouTube. That helps. We're going to touch on a couple props that exist for today. Maybe that'll tickle your fancy, folks. But that's what you should be doing. Signing up at Prize Picks. You're putting together basically parlay cards. You put together 5-on-1 card, you'll net up to 10x your entry fee. If you put together 6 and you hit all of them, you'll get up to 25x. But you don't even have to go perfect. You'll still get some money back, even if you go 4-1 or even 3-2. We're going to get to this team in a bit, but I'm leading off with it because I kind of just want to know how you feel. Over under 50.5 fantasy points for Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. He's been absolutely a dog. He's been sensational. I'm not the biggest Jimmy Butler stan by any means. I never think he can win a finals on his own. I don't think that's his role. I know he took the bubble team to the finals, but I always had a hot take. That Miami Heat team was one of the worst teams to make the NBA finals. But I'll take the over. Jimmy Butler's just a dog in him right now. He's just no Tyler Hero. He's still out with that hand injury. Yeah, I think Jimmy Butler's well equipped to be able to play 40+ minutes. He's done it time and time again. He's going to shoot the ball a bunch, and the whole team wants him to shoot the ball too. It's not like anyone else wants to hog the ball over. It's just like they want to operate through Jimmy and let Jimmy be him and let Jimmy cook. And Jimmy is certainly cooking for sure. Let's go with the over there. It's just more like, it's like kind of like the recency bias is Jimmy Butler's been absolutely balling, and I'm just going to think he continues to ball out.
I will take the under there. I took the under in my Prize Picks video. I think switching to a new series is a mild downgrade for him. You don't use him the same way against the Bucks as you do here in game 1. So I think he takes his foot off the gas slightly. So I'm going to take the under there. How about his teammate, Bam Adebayo? Over under 36 fantasy points.
That's a really good line, but I'm going to go with the over. Bam Adebayo had a really weird regular season. I've always thought Bam was underrated for a couple of years, and all of a sudden, the way he was playing, he looked kind of overrated in the regular season. But I'll take it with the over. I think Bam's going to be asked to play a ton of minutes there, and one less body to worry about in terms of Julius Randle on the other side of things. So I think Bam's going to be well equipped to be able to do his own thing.
And I expected Milwaukee to try to punish Miami in the pick and roll more last series. They did not. Maybe that had something to do with Budenholzer losing his brother during the series, which just came out, which is insane to think about. Sucks so bad for him. The Knicks are going to run a ton of pick and roll, and that means the Bam Adebayo is going to be out there switching pick and rolls and getting put out on Jalen Brunson pretty regularly. I think Bam plays bigger minutes in this series than he did the last series. I agree, over 36. But for now, let's go to the New York Knicks. Let's go to the Sacramento Kings. Let's finish off this Golden State Sacramento game. By the way, thank you to Prize Picks. Hit that like button, folks. Let's get up over 200. We're going to the Kings. I don't know what the hell to do with this team because they flipped the script in game 6, they went small. They cut Alex Len from the rotation. Big minutes out of Lyles. How much of that was Sabonis's foul trouble? I don't know. I actually thought Sabonis looked good early. He was scoring well early, and then all of a sudden he just wasn't on the floor any longer, which was kind of crazy. They basically put Harrison Barnes on ice. We got massive minutes out of Terrence Davis, so he could just foul everything that moves. Sabonis is 47% owned. Monk and Fox are both in the 30s. Lyles, Herter, Murray, all in the 20s. Barnes getting no love. Where are you going for Sacramento?
This is one of the most, that was a crazy rotation switch up last game, right? No more Alex Len, less Davion Mitchell, a ton of Terrence Davis. Terrence Davis falls out in the fourth quarter. There is a non-zero chance he closes that game. And with that non-zero chance, I'm willing to think that he played all right. He played it well enough for them to help them win the game. So I think it's not that crazy to project Terrence Davis to play at least the minimum minutes he played last game. But he's someone who I'm willing to take some chances on both sides. I think he makes things quite a bit interesting there. I know he doesn't take a bunch of shots, but if he finds a way to 18 minutes again, he's going to look kind of intriguing on both sides. That's how I feel about Terrence Davis. But
yeah.
Let's go back to the top. Sabonis is like, it feels like he's got the Jared Allen in him. The lights are too big at this moment. The way he's been playing over the last couple of games, kind of been afraid to shoot that mid-range jumper, which has been automatic for him all season long. Bunch of foul trouble. And I'm kind of concerned that he might not get full minutes if they don't start off hot, which feels kind of crazy. Yeah. I think he's pretty safe to play around 36 minutes at least, but
yeah.
Foul trouble. Trey Lyles played a ton of minutes last game, and he looked really good. They spaced him out, and it worked last game. But granted, whatever worked last game certainly can't work 2 games in a row against Steve Kerr. But there's definitely a clear downside to Sabonis based on what happened last game.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very nervous about that. I just want to announce it to everybody. We got the Knicks starting lineup: Brunson, Barrett, Hart, Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. So they are sticking with Hart. They're not going back to Quentin Grimes. Obi Toppin stepping into the starting lineup for Randall, which we will touch on shortly. That's why we kicked the Knicks game to the end. Without getting that starting lineup, we would have been hypothetically talking about it and then just going back to it anyway. So that is why we're talking about the Knicks game last. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic for Sabonis. I can't imagine that the Kings' goal is to go to significantly more Trey Lyles again and cutting Barnes, because those guys, like Trey Lyles, just isn't better than these guys. It worked, and you keep going to it. I agree with that there, but now they've seen it, and Steve Kerr is not going to look at this and be like, "Oh, how are we going to correct for the Trey Lyles issue out there?" Like, they've had bigger problems in playoff series. So I think this one swings back to normal. I do think Terrence Davis is a part of the rotation, and at 3,500, he's really interesting now because of the Knicks. I'm not getting there, but I do think that he is sneaky to get to.
Yeah, it would have been really interesting if he doesn't fall out. How many more minutes does he play? And does Kevin Huerter check back in, or does it Harrison Barnes check back in? I just thought he was playing so well in terms of like bothering Steph Curry. You're not going to shut him down. He was just bothering him. There's nothing else that he was doing. And it worked. And I don't know if it'll work again, but I do fully expect Terrence Davis to be in the rotation, taking away minutes from Alex Len, Davion Mitchell. I think he's at least going to play at least a dozen minutes, I feel, just because of what happened last game.
Yeah, I think the one safe thing I feel about, like, I can't imagine they're trotting Len out here today. I don't know why they would be doing that, barring like aggressive foul trouble or something. Yeah.
I mean, it would be pretty, even if there is foul trouble, he's kind of like, they went Lyles at the 5. He's like the 3rd string center based on what happened last game. He played dusty blowout run. Yeah, I don't expect Len to touch the floor unless if it's a massive blowout either way, or both Lyles and Sabonis are in significant foul trouble.
Thoughts on the barnacle of the Bay, Harrison Barnes, who got limited minutes the last time out, but only 4% owned for today.
He seems like the vet that should be playing a little bit more minutes, but it came down to the Terrence Davis yet again. Everything's circling back to what he did last game. The 2 guys who I feel most confident in their minutes are Monk and De'Aaron Fox. I think Monk has a pathway to playing 40 minutes this game just because of what he's been able to do in this series. we haven't seen that happen, but I don't know with Harrison Barnes. Keegan Murray, we've seen it earlier in the series. He just was not ready for playoff run. He was getting cooked. And then he had a great game 5, I think it was game 5 back at Golden State. Sorry, game 4 back at Golden State. He was really good. And he's another guy who, if he's going to struggle, I don't think Mike Brown's going to hesitate to take him out of the rotation. It's game 7, it's do or die. So the only 2 guys who I feel extremely confident in minutes are Monk and Fox. And it's kind of roulette with everyone else.
I'm getting to a lot of the Kings, and I hate it. I'm way more exposed to Sacramento than I am Golden State. I've been very much anti-Sacramento for months. I've been very pro-Golden State for months. And now I'm going to be sitting there with my money on the line with the opposite thing of what I want. But that's how this is going to shake out. So I'm getting to a bunch of Fox. I'm getting to a bunch of Sabonis. I've got Murray. I'm way over on Malik Monk. I've got a ton of Kevin Huerter right now, 4,800 shooting guard, small forward. I'm going to try to get a little bit more Harrison Barnes because I think they want to keep playing him. I can't. Going small for Sacramento, like, I assume they still want Harrison Barnes to be a part of going small. It's not like his size is a problem there. So I think that he gets worked back in. 14 and a half minutes for him that last time out. Not ideal. I just like all things Sacramento here, except for the fact that I think that they lose.
Yeah, I think they lose too just because of veteran experience. But I think the NBA got what they wanted, a game 7. And it's been a pretty exciting first round series, just offensive firepower back and forth. So yeah, I do think Golden State pulls off the win. Hopefully it's close. Hopefully it's a thriller. But like you said, I completely understand getting a bunch of Sacramento. I just think there's a lot of leverage spots. If you can nail the combination of Huerter, Barnes, Keegan Murray, and Terrence Davis right today, I think you're going to sit yourself up towards the top. We know what Fox and Monk are going to do. And Sabonis clearly has an upside, which we haven't seen a lick of in this series. It wouldn't shock me if Sabonis plays 40 minutes and puts up 60 fantasy points. That's certainly in the range of outcomes. He just needs to be more aggressive from the field. 3 of 12, that's like one of the worst performances of a Sabonis from the field all season long. So expect him to be better. He always has triple-double upside. So I'm just a little concerned of what we saw last game, what those minutes could look like if Mike Brown doesn't trust him for some reason down the stretch.
Who wins the game?
The Warriors. The Warriors by 3 or 4 points. I would take the Warriors in the points.
Warriors by 9. And I have no money on DraftKings after it's over.
You have the Warriors predicted to win by 9 in your.
I think they go big. This is just in my mind. I've been team Warriors. I think you get to game 7, Kings get tight. Warriors have been here before.
Yeah, that's kind of it's hard to measure those type of psychological aspects of it, but there's no way it doesn't help Golden State. Yeah. Just having that experience of like not cracking when the lights are too big.
All right, next up, we got to hit on a couple super chats that came in. So we're going to start it off with Ace of Spade, DK tiers question. So let's work our way through that. Tier 1. Curry, Sabonis, Butler, and Fox. In my optimal, I have it as De'Aaron Fox. Who's the leading scorer of all the payoff options today? Because that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I lean with that way. I think Fox is that finger seems unbothered for him. I think those are all. I think you said Butler, Curry, and Bam, right?
Butler, Curry, Sabonis, and Fox.
Yeah, I have no issues if you want to split it up between Butler, Curry, and Fox.
Yeah,
I think it would be Fox, Curry, and Butler for me in that order, just because of Game 7.
Sure, we're on the same page there. We'll go to tier 2. It's Bam, Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and Jalen Brunson. This one I've got by a mile for one person.
Could you repeat it again? Sorry.
Bam, Wiggins, Klay, Brunson.
Oh yeah, I mean Jalen Brunson. If you want to lock in Jalen Brunson, I would certainly consider it. Just because of no Randall, Jalen Brunson should shoot the ball 25 times in this game. If Thibodeau drops up the right pick and roll game plan, exposing guys on Miami in the pick and roll defense, Brunson should be able to cook and take a bunch of shots. He looks outstanding in terms of tiers for that tier 2.
Tier 3 no longer contains Julius Randle. We've got Kevon Looney, Malik Monk, Draymond Green, and RJ Barrett. Tough tier. I got these guys separated by 1.4 points across all 4 of them.
Yeah. I'm gonna just lean with the game 7 side of things, just because I think their range of outcomes lean towards the more ceiling performances than a game 1 in a new series, in my opinion.
Tier 4. Lots of names here. I think there's a clear top option. Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, Keegan Murray, Jordan Poole, Gabe Vincent, Kevin Love.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. You can mix and match there. I think those guys, in terms of tiers, I think balancing those guys out, I think those guys, there's a reason why they're in the bottom tier, right? They're the more volatile outcomes in this situation. And that's how you get different on this, right? I think you eat the chalk mainly in the earlier tiers and then mix and match towards the tiers on the bottom.
I've got Josh Hart in that one, but I could just as easily go to Robinson or Murray there.
Yeah, I think any of those guys make a ton of sense.
2 to go. I think this one's pretty easy. Quickly, Herter, Toppin, Barnes, Strus, Lowry, Martin. I think that's got to be Quickly.
I think it's Quickly.
I think he's better per minute guy, stepping into some more minutes. And then finally, Grimes, and basically like everybody that we haven't mentioned. Grimes, Hartenstein, Lyles, DiVincenzo, Duncan Robinson, Davis, Payton, Mitchell. Feels like it's Grimes, but I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. Could just as easily go to Lyles if you think those minutes were real.
Yeah, I think Lyles makes some sense there. Like you said, the uncertainty with Grimes in a tier setting, I think you might get rewarded taking some chances with one of those other guys, but Grimes, I think, should be able to play at least 15 minutes tonight.
We got a super chat from Avi. Hartenstein over Toppin on FanDuel. I mean, like, if you're playing 150 lineups, you'll get to some Hartenstein, but no, it's Toppin by a mile to me.
Yeah. I just want to make sure Julius Randle is out and Obi Toppin is starting. I think Toppin currently projects for pure in a raw point setting at least by 7 or 8 fantasy points more than Hartenstein. Last I checked.
Yeah, it's a bundle, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Mike Campbell with the big super chat. Whoever knew Josh Engleman could be right about anything in life, and Bam Adebayo could win you a large field GPP on Wednesday night. It had to work eventually. You keep playing him over and over again, it's going to work. But I think the industry has underprojected Bam Adebayo's minutes over and over again. Today is no different. So get yourself some Bam today too, which we'll get into shortly. And congrats on winning the GPP.
Yeah, and it's always very interesting to see how market evolves for minutes as a series progresses. Sometimes the market just picks the same number of minutes every game, which is usually not the best way to go upon playoff DFS basketball. So, like for example, if you see some markets projecting Alex Len to be in the rotation, that would be a head scratcher for me.
Same. Ryan Nelson says, love Rimpak, but what player in the league could take the Heat farther than where Butler has been? He's been the best postseason player over the last 2 years.
That's a hot take in my opinion. I get it. I think Spoelstra, the way he draws up the game plan for the Heat, he maximizes what Butler can give you better than anyone else. I think we're selling Eric Spoelstra a little bit short, and I'm not trying to take away credit from Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler, if he were to have a lick of a more efficient 3-point shot, he'd be awesome, but it's just not enough. He's really, really good. I'm not taking that away from him. He's an all-NBA-esque type of caliber player. He's not a first-team all-NBA type of player. He's more of a third-team guy, but he's good. Don't get me wrong. He shows up for the playoffs, but he's not been the best player.
No. I mean, I'm taking Steph before I take Butler by a mile. Yeah. He picked up the chip last year.
So, and I think majority of the people would take Steph over Butler more nights than not too. So, yeah, but it was very impressive what he did in that series. And obviously a lot of things went his way. Giannis having a fluky fall and not playing in 2 games changed the whole outlook of the series. It is what it is. And they took advantage of it. So he deserves a lot of credit for that.
All righty. Well, we're going to keep this one moving. We got to get into that Knicks game in a second. But first, one more thing. We got to talk. 1, you got to hit the like button. We need to get up over 200. That just needs to happen. 2, BetPro, folks. BetPro. 7-day free trial for new users. After that, we're looking at $29.95 a week, up to $100 per month. But you can get that free trial with either subscription. We've had these models running for years now on the DFS side, and now we're transitioning that a bit. Well, not transitioning it, but we're opening that up through the sports betting side. So you're used to hearing about Alex Baker. You guys know him as Osimo. Steve Buzzard, you know him as DeColts. Sean Zahn, you know him as Sean Zahn. Handling the projections on the back end. Now that's being applied to the sports betting side. BetPro, positive ROI over its lifespan. You'd be very profitable. If you were just blindly taking those positive ROI bets, you'd be in great shape. Filter that out if you want. Keep an eye on some things that you like. You're going to be in great shape. We're showing you the expected value of bets, how much you should put, what percentage of your bankroll you should be putting down. How often does that bet win? Tons and tons of information across multiple sports books, and you can check it all out for free for 7 days if you haven't done it already. So guys, click that link in the description. Go check out BetPro. Let's get into it. And I know that we should be starting with Miami, but now that we have all of the information, let's start with the Knicks because there's less to talk about on the Miami side. I think that's a little bit more cut and dry, but the Knicks are a different team. No Julius Randle for today. We are getting Quentin Grimes back. If you didn't hear me before, starting lineup, Brunson, Hart, Barrett, Toppin, Mitchell Robinson. We've got 50+% ownership going to Brunson, Hart, Quickly, and basically Grimes, although I think Grimes might come down a little bit. He is also 3,600, so his playing time is going to keep him as a value play. Where do you want to go for the Knicks here in game one with no Julius Randle?
I'm going to take the score answer. Obi Toppin at that price tag. Yeah, go ahead and play Obi Toppin in majority of your lineups tonight. And by majority, if you want to play triple-digit percentage of Obi Toppin, he seems like it can just work out just fine. I think at $4,500 on DraftKings, $4,400, I believe, on FanDuel. He currently is grading out as my highest owned player on the slate. And I like getting to him in quite a bit. Not getting to as much as of him on DraftKings compared to FanDuel, just because you have to roster two power forwards over there on FanDuel, but I'm getting to quite a bit of Obi Toppin, and not just him, a bunch of Knicks. And it kind of feels gross in a Miami spot, but hey, they're kind of priced a little too cheap for their superstar player not to be playing today.
I'm getting to a bunch of Toppin. I'm not getting to as much as I thought I would. I'm getting to more quickly than I am Toppin. Minutes will be interesting. Like I gave Toppin 27. I don't necessarily think he has to close in a situation against Miami. So I'm thinking about 3 real rotations and then the possibility of picking up a 4th. But that said, he's still in half my lineup. So I'm more than okay getting there. The guy that I am getting to the most, though, for the Knicks is Emmanuel Quickly, 4,300, point guard, shooting guard eligible. He is in half of the lineups, but great per minute guy in general. No Randall, so there is that usage available out there. And I think they're going to be in a really nice spot to to spam pick and rolls, and Quickly can do that just as well as Jalen Brunson. They were both like 85th percentile or higher as pick and roll ball handlers this season. I think that can continue today, but there's really no limit to it. I'm getting like 50% of Brunson, Hart, Barrett, Quickly, Toppin, Grimes to a degree. I'm getting to all these guys, and you're just going to have them in different combinations because they're not about to start playing Evan Fournier or Miles McBride or Derrick Rose. Like these guys are just going to play a shit ton. I don't really know how you get away from the Knicks today.
Yeah, you got to have some exposure to the Knicks organically. It's a 2-game slate. They're missing Julius Randle. Usage should be spread around. I expect Jalen Brunson to soak up quite a bit of that. And RJ Barrett, I think, is a little sneaky. I know he's been an up and down all in the playoffs, but he's played kind of weirdly better at home. He's kind of like embracing like role players play better at home narrative there. But RJ Barrett has the potential to shoot 20+ times in a game, and I'll take those shot volume any day of the week in a 2-game slate there if he's going to come in at somewhat under-owned. I like getting to Barrett. Josh Hart, we've seen the minutes be there quite a bit. There is a kind of like a viral soundbite that went with him and Thibodeau. Hart was like, I can play 48 if you want to. I'm sure Thibodeau got a little hard after that. So Thibodeau and Josh Hart, they clearly, Thibodeau trusts him, 6,200. I think he looks like an outstanding option as well. The Knicks starters plus Quickly. I prefer Quickly to Hartenstein by a lot. Yeah. I'm getting to a lot of Emmanuel Quickly over there on FanDuel. Just positions yourself to jam in quickly and top in, and getting to a bunch of game 7 players and mixing and match with guys like Bam and Butler. He just opens so many things up. And I think Josh explained it perfectly there. The pick and roll there, I think Thibodeau is going to be exposing the Kevin Love defense. I think that's the best way to win against this Miami Heat team. Without Julius Randle, I think Quickly should be able to cook in whatever minutes he gets.
42% ownership coming in right now to $5,200 Mitchell Robinson. He played 36 minutes in their most recent game, was able to play, up. He got to 30 in one other game during the series. I went 28. I'm barely getting to him today. I think this is I don't want to say that this is like a different series, but like it's obviously a different series. I think he's a really nice per minute point per dollar type play, but I feel like he's pretty significantly over-owned for today.
Yeah, and I felt like that too. And then I saw my last run of Mitchell Robinson, and I'm getting around the field, which I didn't expect.
Yeah,
I'm getting slightly just right above the field right now. So he's 5,200, right? The center position on this slate goes Domantas Sabonis, Mitchell Robinson, Bam, Trey Lyles, Looney, Draymond Green, and then Kevin Love. And yeah, he just falls right smack dab in the middle. So yeah, I think I just get right around the field. So that's how I feel about him. I don't have any lean. Maybe I'm a little bit more bullish on him than you are. It's going to be really interesting to see if for some reason he gets played off the court in this series. I don't expect that to happen, but there's certainly a chance the way Miami operates their offense at times.
And it's not that I don't think that he's a good player or anything. I just think that 42% ownership is a little high. Like if that read at 32, I think I might be looking at this a little bit differently.
Okay.
Yeah. 42 starts to become like a pretty extreme spot for at that point, I want to start taking my chances on a 7% owned Isaiah Hartenstein, because we know how he gets on the floor. And it's just when Mitchell Robinson can't be out there. And if that happens in this series and you're getting a 6x or 7x reduction in ownership, to me, that just becomes the more interesting thing to do.
Yeah. And I also want to clarify, I think Mitchell Robinson is slightly better play on DraftKings just because he's 5,200. I know the scoring grades up better for him on FanDuel. I'm just not getting much of him. I think Looney and Sabonis just grade out a little bit better in terms of the one center. You can only play one center over there. So I'm not getting too much of Robinson there, even though the scoring prefers his type of play with the blocks. But
yeah,
like you said, I think at that ownership, I have no issues if you want to get under the field with him. So we'll see what his final number comes in at, because I do think the field might adjust based on that projected ownership.
Yeah, it's always going to be helpful to point out things like this. We had him projected for 29% ownership in the whenever game 5 was. He ended up coming in at 16. Different slate, different everything. But maybe there's something in the model that ends up a little high there, and Mitchell Robinson isn't 42, he's 36. And that's just like the little wiggle room you're looking for at that point, because I think 42 feels a tad high. I'm actually going to manually make a change. Actually, have we had an update in the past 26 minutes?
Take a quick look.
4 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm going to grab whatever's there. We got him at 44.7. Yeah, I'm just going to manually bring that down to the mid 30s just for myself to see if I get any more of Mitch. To be fair, I am getting a lot of Sabonis and a lot of Bam. So I'm just simply paying up and not getting to Mitchell Robinson. So there's a reason that I'm not getting there, but ownership is playing a slight role.
Yeah. It's the game 1 of the series, and we saw last night. Sometimes coaches will make rotational adjustments. Thibodeau seems like the last guy to do that. So, like you said, in terms of this slate and that projected ownership on FanDuel, I'm much more comfortable going to guys like Looney and Sabonis than I am Robinson. But DK, I think the field kind of maybe has it right for this type of slate.
Avi with the super chat. Doesn't Hartenstein get more run and usage with no Randle plus potential foul trouble for Robinson? Julius Randle's minutes have absolutely nothing to do with Isaiah Hartenstein. Randle's status in or out plays zero role to Isaiah Hartenstein. The only thing that will affect him is Mitchell Robinson in front of them. But you're going to get essentially 48 minutes out of those two centers. However that gets split up, doesn't play any, like it didn't matter if Randall was in or not for the most part. Like they're never going to play those two guys together, so that you only have 48 minutes to add up to. Anything else that we should be touching on here for the Knicks? I like, as weird as it sounds, I think they're the easiest team to talk about because you can't really do anything else.
Correct. And with Josh Hart starting, you feel a little bit more confident in his minutes. I'm a little less confident in Quentin Grimes' minutes. And with me last checking, Grimes is 3,500 over there on DraftKings. And I don't like the amount I'm getting to him, but he's cheap. That's all he has going for him. And sometimes you need to play a cheap player on this 2-game slate to jam in all these studs, especially going back to what I'm saying, those game 7 minutes are for real, right? I expect those guys to play on average 5 to 6 more minutes than potentially what the Knicks and Heat players are going to play in terms of projection wise. You're
saying, you're getting to Quentin Grimes because he's cheap. He is 3,600 shooting guard, small forward, projected for 30% ownership. Should you just be trying to get to a little bit more Terrence Davis? Unowned. Same price, basically, same position. Is that an interesting pivot in a large field GPP?
I think so. And I think that pivot is going to be taking place right now, just because I truly think he was going to close that game. As ridiculous as that sounds. Did you watch that game, Josh?
I did. And I was sitting there screaming at my television because I had like a shit ton of Sabonis and like everything that I had wasn't working out the way that I needed it to. And then they were just like, you know what? We're going to go to Trey Lyles and Terrence Davis. I was like, cool. I have no part of this.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah. I think it's a viable pivot. I think there's just a chance where Grimes might be like the emergency active. There's a small chance. I think he's fine.
Sure. So do I.
But I truly think Terrence Davis was going to close, and I think that narrative might end up burning me tonight. But I'm willing to die on that narrative.
All righty. Well, let's touch on the Heat quickly so people can get our info, and then we'll take any questions we may have by the time we get to it. We're moving through this one very quick, so make sure you're hitting that like button. For Miami, we got the starting lineup, same as it's been. We do still have Kevin Love in the starting lineup. There's no ownership coming into Miami. 27% to Butler, 20 to Bam, 12 to Gabe Vincent. Everything else is single digits. I'm 3Xing Bam for the 100th time this playoffs. I'm barely getting to Jimmy Butler. I'm okay with that for today. Just don't love him in game 1. If he goes out and does it again, but it's Jimmy Butler. But a lot of wing defenders for him. What do you like from Miami today?
I like Bam a lot. I think Bam looks outstanding today, and I'm going to be getting to him, like you said, I'm not getting 3X above the field. It's more just under 2X right now with Bam, but he looks outstanding. Bam's probably my highest owned Miami Heat player right now as I last checked before I do another run. I think that makes a lot of sense to going to Bam over there. It'll be interesting to see what Kevin Love's rotation looks like and what adjustments they might need to make if he gets exposed defensively. Gabe Vincent was outstanding last game, but I don't expect that type of fantasy production from him game in and game out. And he's always got Kyle Lowry lurking in the back. There's obviously a chance where Kyle Lowry can play more minutes if he can handle it. But it's really about just Bam, and then I'm getting a very limited amounts of everyone else. The next highest guy who I'm getting is Kyle Lowry just because of a $4,400 price tag, which feels really weird.
I was getting him earlier and now I'm not, but I like the idea of getting to Kyle Lowry today for one specific reason. The last time that they played was on Wednesday. That means he got Thursday off, Friday off, Saturday off. I think if you're ever going to get like a decent Lowry day, it's him coming in here with a bunch of rest. I assume like Kyle Lowry's the type of guy that gets up for playing in MSG. So I do like the Lowry shout. I don't have him right now. I'm going to manually bump him just to try to get a little bit more. But it's basically, I have Bam and I don't have any other real representatives from the Miami Heat. I just don't know how you get to them. Like all of these like mid 4K, same guy out there, just hoping to get the minutes right type dudes. This is a really difficult spot.
It is. And that Miami wing player situation, like there's a chance Duncan Robinson doesn't see the course. Okay, there's definitely that could certainly happen, but I expect him to play a handful of minutes. Haywood Highsmith also exists. Like, are you getting to any Haywood Highsmith at 3,200? It feels really gross, but
didn't even project him.
Yeah, he played 4 minutes last game. It'll be interesting to see what Spoelstra does. Like, we've seen Cody Zeller sometimes pop up if guys get foul trouble. It'd be a weird option to go on a 2-game slate, but sometimes those weird wonky options pay off in weird ways. So
I think it's easy to play a rotation of Zeller this series just because the Knicks are going to have 48 minutes of Robinson and Hartenstein. So I think you can get away with a Zeller rotation for now. We'll see how that shakes out by the end of it all, but that is a direction that like I think you can go. It's not a direction that I'm going by any means, but I think he's okay in this spot. Look, I got it wrong. I said it a lot in the Bucks series because I just thought they were going to pick on Kevin Love. I don't think that Tibbs and the Knicks let him off the hook. He's 5,100. He's 14% owned for today. I think we see Kevin Love's minutes come down throughout this series, unless he's the only way that they can get rebounds. You and I talked about it before we got started on this show. The Knicks are an exceptional rebounding team, and they're still a really good rebounding team, even when Julius Randle is off the floor. If Love is the only way that they can maintain any semblance of action on the glass, they're going to have to live with it to a degree. If they're still getting dominated on the glass, then I think they're going to have to zig, because you're either going to get a really bad series out of Jalen Brunson, or Jalen Brunson is going to be the most efficient guy you can find running pick and rolls.
You bring up a great point, and I got to give credit to Kevin Love. He played really well in that last game, and kind of worked out for them for sure. Obviously, they take down the series, and maybe he just finds a way to stay on the court. And just going to him, I'm only getting to, last I checked, just under 10% of him over there on DraftKings.
Yeah.
I'm not getting to much of him, but I'm getting to some of him. A little bit more on FanDuel just because of the way the position works out there. But he's an interesting play because if Kevin Love finds the way to high 20s minutes, we know Kevin Love still has a little spark upside of getting you fantasy points. Obviously, that has dropped off tremendously as he's gotten older, but he certainly still has an upside. It wouldn't shock me if he finds a way to high 20s minutes and high 20s fantasy points. That's certainly in the range of outcomes. So I have some interest in Love, but I'm just not getting too much of him. He's just kind of like maybe just coming in terms of just like the range of outcomes play for me in my last set of lineups I checked here.
We got about 8 minutes to go until we get to lock. We got another message from Adam, not a super chat, just using his member message. He said the two GOATs, top 3 DK plays and best value. So I guess I'll go to you to start it off. Who are your 3 best plays on DraftKings for today?
Obi Toppin wears out just fine for me in terms of value. And then I'm getting to guys like De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk are quite a bit. And then I think actually they're pretty equal to guys like Josh Hart and RJ Barrett as I check this right now. So I'll give you 4 guys: Toppin, Monk, Fox, Barrett, and Hart.
Okay. Did I just upload 5,000 lineups? Yeah, let's go ahead and cut off the bottom of that list. I was just like, well, that's not what I was trying to do. I'm going to give you my 4 most owned guys because I have a tie for third. Emmanuel Quickley, Domantas Sabonis, Bam Adebayo, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I have no issues with that as well. I think 2-game slates to rank players, it always feels so wrong because like the difference between the 4th and 10th player is like a few percentage points. Like it's not like that crazy to look at.
And then Pierre hit us with the super chat. If you had to pick only one on FanDuel, would it be Josh Hart or RJ Barrett?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with RJ Barrett. I know RJ Barrett's been pretty off. I just think RJ Barrett has more of an offensive upside than Hart, but Hart has the ability to play more minutes, I think. I
have Hart by 0.2 of a fantasy point, which is obviously better from because Barrett's slightly more expensive. Hart has they have the same positional eligibility. FanDuel, I'm going to do this again. If you're not listening to our show, obviously you're not listening because you don't care about your DFS product any longer, but can we just make the positions go in order? Why is one guy shooting guard small forward and the other is small forward shooting guard? It's an eyesore. Fix your shit.
So they actually did have an UI enhancement. I don't know if you noticed on the desktop version, when players' minutes are now with quarters remaining, I think it's your lineup has less than 12 remaining. It now is in orange. I don't know if you've noticed that, but that they did make that enhancement over the last week.
No, I stopped playing there when they stopped having 100K up top during the regular season.
Okay.
So,
Regular season. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, once that went away, I was just like, well, moving over to DraftKings for the rest of the year. That was really great. Then I just lost twice as much money as I normally did. It was fun.
Yeah, because the entry fee is like 2 or 3 times higher than
it's been a not fun NBA season.
FanDuel is a lot more bankroll friendly site in terms of how they structure their contests. That's how I felt, but
it is.
I don't know why DraftKings doesn't. I think DraftKings would fill contest if they would do that. I don't know.
I mean, the fact that DraftKings looks the same as it did for the past 5 years is an embarrassment to their UI, but that's neither here nor there. Who wins this game, Knicks or Heat?
The Miami Heat steal game 1. No Randall. I just think Miami's a better team. I think on the court, they have 2 of the best 3 players at all times in Bam and Butler. And who's the best player on the Knicks? It's Jalen Brunson, right? So, I think they have 2 of the best 3 players. Yeah. I think Miami wins the game, and I think they win the series in. I think they win the series in 6 games.
I hope you're wrong. Malcolm wants the FanDuel core for cash games. Quickly, Toppin, Curry. Looks like Clay, Keegan Murray. That's probably the 5 you're looking for.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. I have no objections to that. Toppin for sure.
Yeah.
If you find a head-to-head that doesn't have Obi Toppin, you should be running laps around your house tonight.
I am light on Toppin in the on DK, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I definitely don't have as much of him as I do on FanDuel, but yeah, I actually in my last run with the situation with Grimes, I projected for Toppin for a couple more minutes after that. So he came up a little bit more than I had about 15 minutes ago. So
okay,
hopefully it works out for me, but he's fairly cheap. And I think there was a pathway to 30 minutes and I'll take that.
All right. Corey Ballmer, super chat, 2.5 minutes to go here. Fox, Monk, Bam, or Steph, Dre, and Lowry. It's got to be the first 3.
First one. Yeah. I think by a ton. It's also going to be overowned, but I think they project for a ton more fantasy points. Not by a ton, but at least 12 to 15 more fantasy points off the top of my head, I think.
I don't mind that second set with Lowry just because I think now that we're in a new series and that he's rested, I do like taking that flyer. But those other 3 guys, I think you can rely on right now.
Yeah. I just think they project for a lot more. Their minutes floor is a lot greater too.
Yep. All right. I got my lineups in. I'm feeling about as good as I can. Final top 5 for me. Quickly, Sabonis, Bam, Brunson, and unfortunately Quentin Grimes, which I feel like I have wrong, but
your top 5 owned players?
Yeah. That price tag is it's the only way to get to the bottom to me.
Let me check my final.
I'm bringing him down. I'm bringing Grimes down a little bit more.
You have 120 seconds.
Oh, I got plenty of time.
Okay.
Not my first rodeo, Rinpack.
I was checking the amount of times I've missed my CSV upload, and it is a scary number.
It's not fun.
Yeah. It is not. I wish there was insurance on that. It'd be a lot nicer.
I just wish I was smart enough to just always have one ready that is good enough.
Yeah.
That I have in. That's my real problem. That I'm so dumb about making sure that I just have something in there because I never do.
Yeah, I've burned it way too much. I think that's probably my biggest flaw in my game is not having a decent CSV. At least spend 10, 15 seconds, 5 minutes before getting one up. But no, I just don't do it. It's one of my biggest flaws, and it's burned.
just to put this out there for everybody, so you know what I don't have in the end when it happens. Jimmy Butler, 2% owned for me. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I have no issues with the Butler fade. I think it's completely fine. Yeah, I think my highest owned guys are, oh my God, okay. Barrett, Toppin, and Hart, followed by Monk over there. So
no issues. I got 50% Barrett. I got a bunch of Toppin. I got a ton of Monk. So I'm also very light on Steph Curry, like way light on Curry. So I need those. I need the two highest dollar guys today to not have it. The Steph piece is the one that scares me the most. I need Fox to beat Steph. If Fox beats Steph, then I don't really care too much.
They can certainly beat each other and be both needed.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But if Fox can just beat Steph, then I know at least I have that piece set where like there's never going to be a lineup better than mine if it only has one. That's all I could hope for.
No, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I got to some Curry and some Butler. I think I might have gotten different with, I guess, getting over the field on some of those guys who got extended run off the bench. Maybe a little bit of Lyles and a little bit of Terrence Davis last game. So I'm not getting much of Struce, Vincent. Oh, I got one lineup with Duncan Robinson. Why is that even in there? I should just take it away.
I don't have any.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mike, is there a show after us? No. Okay. I'm going to wait and, the show's over. We're at lock. I'm exporting the CSV right now just to look at actual ownership. You want to look at that and then get out of here?
Yeah, let's do it.
And obviously this is for DraftKings only. I'm not going to search for it on FanDuel since they're so stupid. They won't give it to us immediately in a very easily digestible fashion. But, I guess it's shit on FanDuel day today. Go sign up at Prize Picks, everybody. All right. Two guys are higher than 50% owned in the Knicks and Heat game. Who are they?
Toppin and Hart.
It is neither of those two men. 57% owned RJ Barrett, 56% owned Jalen Brunson.
Oh, wow. I did not get to that much Jalen Brunson.
This guy right here was super wrong about Mitchell Robinson's ownership. 48%, third. 45 to Toppin. So right away, we've got the sixth highest owned guys in this game are all Knicks.
I pulled up some FanDuel. Jalen Brunson comes in at 50% owned at 8,700, and Toppin comes in at 50% owned at 4,400. Staggering Kevin Love ownership at 32%, which is a lot.
19 on DK. So Toppin's 45, Hart is 41. So we came in a little light there, which I'm happy about. Quickly is 37. We had it at 60.
Interesting.
I still got to 80% quickly. So I'm glad it was high.
Gabe Vincent, 33%. Josh Hart, 35% over there on FanDuel. So I'm trying to find it quickly and see what.
Dude, Bam Adebayo, 18% owned. Love having him. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Kyle Lowry is 10.
Yeah, Lowry comes in at 8.9 over there on FanDuel. Bam, 16.5 on FanDuel. I think both of those ownerships, you should be pretty thrilled. Jimmy Butler, 45% over there on FanDuel. Max Strus, 30% over there on FanDuel.
This is going to be fun, man. You ready to go watch some basketball?
I'm down. Who do you have winning this series?
I don't have a great feel for it. I think both teams aren't good. And that shows if you look at the odds to do anything. Knicks plus 550 to win the East. The Heat plus 850. So I guess I have the Knicks, but I don't think that either one of these teams are any good.
Yeah.
Controversial opinion, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure the NBA wants the Knicks in the conference finals. I think there might be a little. No, I was kidding.
They should.
They definitely should get the Knicks in the conference finals. But I mean, this is the first time the Knicks are in the second round since Carmelo was there, right? They played the Paul George Pacers in the second round. And
Yeah, they've been dog shit for a very long time.
Yeah, I think Roy Hibbert turned into Hakeem Olajuwon in that series, and that's why they lost. But
well, I'm going to go turn into a couch potato because I want to watch basketball for the next 7 hours. Thank you to Ryan for stepping in here in Lofty's stead. The show got a lot better. Thank you to Prize Picks for being the sponsor of this bad boy. Good luck, everybody. Have some fun today. We're back again tomorrow for everything that we normally do, but let's enjoy a Sunday. Talk to you later, everybody. Go Liverpool, by the way. Suck it, Tottenham.